Tonight on the MTN News, coming back to work?
So we just continue to see more and more chaos and confusion.
Could a court ruling pave the way for fired employees to return to Yellowstone National Park? We'll have the answer. Plus, a ghost town.
When we are going from the phone constantly dinging to quiet, that's scary.
The struggles on Red Lodge Mountain now seeping into city businesses, and the threat of tariffs.
Our hope with that is that by saving with labor costs, we can offset the material increase prices.
The cost of building a new home could soon skyrocket by $10,000 or more. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. A federal judge in San Francisco is ordering the Interior Department and other federal agencies to rehire fired workers. But what does that mean for national park employees? MTN's John Shear is in Yellowstone to find out.
What it means for employees here right now are more questions and uncertainty.
So we just continue to see more and more chaos and confusion.
There are reports that some employees have been invited back, but only for 45 days. Others are saying they haven't heard anything at all. Plus, a court battle is looming over the judge's ruling.
I haven't heard that people are expecting getting their jobs back yet. People are hopeful.
In Livingston, sports shop owner Dale Sexton says the whiplash over just what is happening is tough on those workers.
These are human lives that we're talking about here. This is not livestock. These are people. And yeah, it just feels very disrespectful in my opinion.
Getting the resources to pay their mortgage is the #1 hurdle for folks that lost their jobs, and the folks that are still in their jobs are pretty unsure about what the future will bring.
The Yellowstone Gateway Business Coalition is reforming, raising money, and reaching out to Montana's congressional delegation for help.
They were instrumental in our effort previously for stopping the mines, and we know they're going to be instrumental moving forward to getting these jobs back.
Montana's senior U.S. Senator, Steve Daines, tells MTN News that he is in touch with Interior Secretary Burgum and Park Superintendent Cam Shawley. Daines says of those laid off so far, quote, "We believe several of those 7 will be reinstated. I've also been working closely with Secretary Burgum to ensure seasonal employee jobs are not frozen." But park advocates may want even more.
So the lifting on the funding freeze and the hiring freeze so that our national parks and the folks on the ground can do their jobs.
Besides the debate over firing of probationary workers, there's a looming deadline to lay off more full-time employees, perhaps as many as 20%.
I think it's important to realize the value that we receive for every dollar that goes into the park system. We get a return of $4, and it's actually quite a bit higher for Yellowstone National Park.
In Yellowstone National Park, I'm John Shearer for MTN News.
A Laurel teen has died after an early morning rollover crash on Interstate 90 just west of town. According to the Montana Highway Patrol, the 17-year-old boy was heading east in a Ford Focus when he missed a curve and ran into the median. He then hit a post with the vehicle flipping several times. The teen, who has not been identified, was not wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from the vehicle and pronounced dead there at the scene. Troopers suspect that alcohol and drugs are possible factors in that crash. A bill that would create stronger penalties for those who abuse Montana's most vulnerable citizens up for discussion today in the legislature. Senate Bill 296, also known as Allen's Law, was brought before House Human Services Committee. The bill was introduced by Billings Senator Mike Yakowicz following the beating death of an intellectually disabled man named Allen in a Billings group home at the hands of a caregiver. It would create additional penalties for those convicted of such offenses, ranging from 1 to 10 years. The committee had some questions about the wording in the bill, with members saying they plan to work on an amendment. The bill's already passed the Senate. Governor Greg Gianforte enjoyed St. Patrick's Day yesterday by signing a bill into law aimed at boosting Montana's economic ties with Ireland. Senate Bill 320, sponsored by Senator Mike Cuff, creates a Montana-Ireland Trade Commission tasked with promoting trade, investment, and academic exchanges with the country. That bill passed with bipartisan support. Leaders say with strong cultural ties Montana and Ireland already share, it only makes sense to strengthen their economic relationship. President Donald Trump is doubling down on reciprocal tariffs, calling their planned April 2nd implementation date a, quote, liberating day. Despite concerns over the economy, Trump says the tariff hikes will be coming. He says he's planning to impose broader reciprocal tariffs and sector-specific tariffs, including steel and aluminum sector for auto production. Well, those tariffs could also have a huge effect on wood and building supplies. In fact, those taxes are projected to raise costs that go into building a single-family house by about $10,000 in the United States. With more on that and what it means for local builders, here's our Haley Monaco.
This home here is for sale for $340,000, but new builds such as this one right here going on the market in the future could cost thousands more because of the tariffs on lumber.
The United States was the largest importer of wood products in 2023.
We need a lot of lumber.
Louis Ernst, owner of Montana Home Builders, is preparing for the change.
The price increase, the tariffs, that they will have an effect and they will increase costs to the end consumer.
President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada and other countries could cause lumber prices to rise. But the new business owner is determined to not have prices fall completely on customers.
If material costs go up, one thing we try to do is take a step back and figure out how can we make our processes of building a home more efficient to save on labor costs. One of the biggest things that helps keep costs down is by keeping the design of the home simple.
Bankrate, a financial service in New York, estimates that with the increase in lumber prices, homes nationwide could go up by 5%.
Seeing the tariffs potentially raising that cost, it's unfortunate, but like I said, we're just going to do our best to make our processes more efficient so that effect isn't as substantial.
Well, right now for us, it's business as usual. We don't see anything major happening. To us, it kind of seems like a negotiation tactic.
Grand Lumber owner Kyle Burgum says they get a majority of their wood products from Idaho, but they also have a supplier in Canada.
The stuff I get from Canada hasn't changed in months. For instance, OSB, which is what we get out of Canada, the highest we were selling at that COVID time was $69 a sheet. And right now we're in the $15, $16, $17 a sheet. And that's about normal.
For Ernst, he's going to continue doing what he knows how to do best, building homes.
Construction and working with my hands is just what I'm good with.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Well, we're now down to less than 29 hours left in the winter season, but Mother Nature is squeezing out every last snowflake that she can. And we had some really healthy amounts of snow around Montana and Wyoming today. Still some lingering snow showers, mostly south of I-90 right now, between Columbus and also near the Red Lodge area, where we had already 11 inches of snow, more than that just west of town. Also some lingering light snow showers between Custer and Colstrip, pushing toward the Lame Deer area, and not nearly as active now as it was earlier in Sheridan County. We had some really impressive snowfall totals. Look at just some of these snowfall totals that I gathered from earlier today. Burgess Junction, look at that. Just 7 miles east of there, 2 feet of snow. Red Lodge, 11 inches. Sheridan itself, 7 inches. And 1 to 3 around the Billings area. Now, those snow showers are decreasing. Our 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
Red Lodge Mountain releases new details about last week's deadly chairlift incident as we're now learning what caused a 37-year-old man to fall to his death. Red Lodge Mountain classified the accident as a, quote, unusually aggressive derailment caused by erratic winds. We now know exactly what that means. Red Lodge Mountain now says the cable rope separated from sheaves at the tower, causing the rope and the chair to drop. The chair itself did not detach from the cable and did not hit the ground.
It wouldn't necessarily hit the ground, but the yo-yo effect of that kind of then you're between two distant towers with all that slack, And that just must have been a horrible situation.
Parker Reel is the former president of the Vermont Ski Areas Association, the only state in the country that requires safety bars on all of its chairlifts. Well, it's unclear if a safety bar would have prevented Jeff Zinni from falling. Reel says it certainly could have helped. Triple Chair remains closed indefinitely. Well, those lingering lift issues at Red Lodge are certainly taking a toll on the greater Red Lodge community. Many hotels and other businesses are seeing a sudden spike in cancellations. With more on that, here's our Charlie Kleps.
Well, there's no shortage of fresh snowfall here at Red Lodge Mountain, but as you can see behind me, nobody is here to take advantage of it. The mountain was closed Tuesday due to severe winds. It's just the most recent disappointing news in what's been a tough week for the mountain. The silence is deafening.
It's never something you want to hear.
What should be a busy day on the slopes is eerily the opposite. Despite nearly a foot of fresh powder, the parking lot is empty.
Our hearts and everything goes towards that family right now.
Tuesday's closure is due to wind, but most of the mountain has been shut down ever since last week's deadly chairlift incident. 37-year-old Jeff Zinni died after being knocked from the triple chair by wind.
It doesn't feel real. I mean, you feel for the family, you feel for their community.
Not only are many still reeling emotionally,
a lot of our crew here also either works at the mountain or has friends at the mountain.
The derailment and partial shutdown of the mountain is also taking a toll on the greater Red Lodge community.
Our business and our operations in the wintertime rely very heavily on the mountain.
Chelsea Tupin with Red Lodge Reservations says very few people are looking to reserve stays at their 28 properties since the incident.
We've basically seen our bookings fall off. So that's hard to swallow. It's, you know, when we are going from the phone constantly dinging to quiet, that's scary.
And over at the Yodeler Motel, it's a similar story.
I wouldn't want to come either if there's so much uncertainty.
Owner AJ Christensen says that 10 groups have canceled their multiple night stays, a big hit for an establishment with only 13 rooms.
This is our time of year for the winter to kind of rally up a little bit and get some business, and so you do have that in the back of your head.
But with just a month left in the season, both Tupin and Christensen are trying to stay positive, keeping everything in perspective.
Looking out the window today and seeing the snow isn't awesome for today, but it does show for a strong finish to the year.
For me, it's a couple weeks. I'll be all right. Like, yeah, it's business. We'll survive, but can't replace someone who's gone.
In Red Lodge, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.